I hope you all are having a wonderful afternoon. This is Atmospheric Alex here with your extended tropical weather update here. As we blow past Debbie, we're still talking about major, even catastrophic impacts today and tomorrow and probably Friday as well, but we're mainly going to focus on, well, what's next? What's on the horizon? And what's on the horizon isn't too pleasant. I wanted to start off by looking at your sea surface temperatures from the University of Miami, and one thing that really stands out here is just how hot these waters are. I've been saying this over and over again, but you have 30 degrees Celsius waters throughout this entire black shaded area here. And, this is just becoming really ridiculous at this point. This is ridiculous seeing waters that are just this warm getting into the upper 80s. And all of this is perfectly supportive for major to violent hurricanes to just rip through. So that is the unfortunate circumstances here. And, well, speaking of plain ridiculous, here is your sea surface temperatures for the Gulf of Mexico with a zoomed in shot. This is just flat out alarming at this point. I have no other words to use. In this red color here, we're talking about sea surface temperatures, all right, upwards of 31 degrees Celsius. This is upper 80 degree waters. But I really want to take your attention off the coast of Louisiana. What on earth is happening over here? We're seeing sea surface temperatures, get this, between 32 to nearly 33 to 34 degrees Celsius. This is low 90s. I wouldn't even be shocked if a couple of areas are reporting mid 90s right now in sea surface temperatures. This right here, these waters are totally historic at this point, and we have never seen waters quite this warm across this region before. And as if you thought it couldn't get any worse, here's your ocean heat content. This is essentially a measure of how much energy is being stored in the ocean at a given time. And this was analyzed today. You can see just tons of ocean heat content here across the Caribbean here and into the Gulf of Mexico. Even the main development region, you have some. But look at this in the Caribbean here. We're seeing a lot of areas that are fully off the charts now. And we didn't see this last year until September. So the real question is, how much warmer and how much more energy is there going to be by the peak of hurricane season? Something important also is how far north these anomalies go. I just want to take a look at this. I mean, we're talking about values upwards of 50 to almost 70, going all the way up to almost 40 degrees north in latitude, which is very significant, as you know. And here's a look at your OHCs in the Gulf and in the Western Caribbean. I really don't want to look at this. This is just flat out insane at this point. We're talking about ocean heat content values. Get this. Upwards, if not over, 200 units. We couldn't even see areas in here to 220 units. This right here is historic. We have never seen values this high before. Ever. Let that sink in for a minute. If we can get a bona fide hurricane that goes through this area, right? I could only imagine the impacts it might have. And this is exactly why you need to get a hurricane plan in place yesterday. This is very serious. And we're not taking this lightly either. Even this little loop current in the Gulf, I would like to mention, I mean, pretty much 200 as well. Even this eddy out here, 180. I don't have any words at this point, and it's only going to get crazier from here. That's the issue that we're dealing with. If we saw this more towards September, October, well, at that point, I mean, it's getting towards the end of hurricane season. It can only go down. But we're still a month away from peak. This right here is what I've been concerned about this entire time. Well, we're taking a look now at our total precipitable water. I've showed this many times before, and this is your extended GEFS model, and as it goes here, we're seeing a lot of wetter conditions finally pouring off of Africa here. And while that might look significant, just wait till the end of the loop. you won't think that's significant at all. Well, what we're starting to see are tropical waves that are starting to propagate here. And this is an ensemble model, so it means there's actually quite a bit of agreement here for these waves to occur. And you keep going through time, I would like to note a very dominant high pressure ridge. Look at this beast over here. It definitely looks like a strong dominating high pressure will set up again. Of course the GFS disagrees. That's a GFS model, take it with a grain of salt. But it's ensemble here. If you keep going through time, you'll start to see little bends here developing. Like right here, you start to notice little wind shifts. These are very powerful waves that are being modeled here. And these are from individual members, but they're so intense that they're kind of manipulating our mean precipitation chart here, which is very concerning. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be seeing this. You could just see how your intertropical convergence zone begins to light up like a Christmas tree across these areas, and you get tons and tons of waves that just pour upwards, through the main development region into the Caribbean there, maybe northern Caribbean. So this here is extraordinarily concerning as it stands. And look at this, even towards the end of the loop, you start getting waves out here. This here is what I have been talking about this entire time, that you need to be on high alert for this season. And I'm going to name off locations right now. If you live along the Lesser Antilles, the Greater Antilles, the Yucatan Peninsula, going a little further south of that, like Nicaragua, the Bahamas, we're talking almost the entire Gulf coastline going up, stretching the mid-Atlantic. You need to get a hurricane plan prepared now. This is going to be a very significant issue as we head into September. And I really hope, and I just pray, that you all stay safe through this time frame. At this point, there's too many factors in play at this point. Again, I'm not trying to hype, I'm not trying to fearmonger, but goodness gracious day, this is looking very significant. Now, as we take a look at our wind shear forecast here, the GEFS model, you can see quite a, oh, never mind. I was going to say quite a significant amount. No, it dies really fast here, and we get basically no shear heading into mid-August. This is absolutely what you don't want to see. I do expect this to return a little bit here as we go through time. Just, oh gosh, basically no wind shear here. But as you can see, wind shear actually begins to increase a little as we get our pattern back in place. You see across your Central Caribbean, your graveyard starts to set up again across those areas. You see your wind shear continues pumping through. Out here, though, what wind shear? There's no wind shear here. That's where I'm afraid systems may intensify on its approach to this area, not get sheared much, and then re-intensify in the Gulf. So either way, there's really no good scenario here when it comes to this. And you can see our wind shear actually intensifying, staying quite persistent. I really hope this continues here. And not really. Look at by early September. Wide open for business. The shop has turned its sign around from closed to open. This is where things are going to heat up very fast here. I'm thinking, probably late August through early October, it's going to be impact after impact after impact, and that is what I am worried about the most here. You need to buckle up immediately, as this will be quite the predicament here. These are the moments I just wish we didn't have this type of model output. Goodness gracious, no wind shear at all. This is honestly the lowest amount of wind shear I think I've ever seen forecasted on the GFS model. Hopefully I'm wrong about that though, and I'm hoping we can get some kind of a limiting factor, some redirection and steering to help us out here in the next month and two. So with all that aside, let's take a look at our mean sea level pressures here on our GEFS model. You can see our first tropical wave here forming down near the Nicaragua. I don't expect that to do much, and I don't think it'll enter the Gulf either, so we should be good. That next wave, kind of starts over here and propagates here off to the northwest. And I kind of think this might stay out to sea. I hope it does anyways. You saw our steering currents are a little uncertain. If it enters the Gulf, though, yeah, this particular member wants a Category 5 hitting Houston. I don't think that's going to happen. This wave, though, I don't think will do that. And a Category 4 hitting Charleston. Please, for the love of goodness, do not do that, because they've gotten so much rain over the last few days, and they don't need any more, let alone a major hurricane impact. And maybe we'll go through a quiet period. I don't know if I trust this. This model's been a little weird lately. You could see all these major hurricane signals here begin firing off. This is just quite concerning. Another one down there, and anything that enters a Gulf immediately becomes a major as well, according to this. This is just absolute carnage. And, oh yeah, just take a look at these. I mean, I don't think I need to say anything else. We could see very powerful systems that move up there, move through here. It all has to be told with time as we continue to move through. Well, with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in today's video. Before you leave, I want to kind of explain my thumbnail here, because it looks very hypey, very, misinformative, if you will. It's not at all. This is truly the active pattern ahead, as you can see up here. And I know this is a screenshot of, say, Irma, Maria. Well, the reason why I use this is because you kind of saw the wave train on the GEFS model, that we could have consecutive hurricanes passing through or to the north of the Caribbean. That is very possible this season. I hate to say it. And down here, I kind of illustrated, all your tropical wave potentials here, kind of moving through. And I even put in a bit of a low-end hurricane here, moving off to the northwest, all your spaghetti plots going, wow, crazy, I hope we don't see any outputs like this, or I might as well just retire at that point. But you can see, this is just a simulation. This was done using a fluid dynamics app. This is not a real satellite image. So, this isn't happening right now. It's just a simulation of what we could be seeing later in the season, if you will. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, and I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon.